Right, well, I'm at the Mill Day Ticket Fishery in Essex, doing some floater fishing. I must admit, it's probably the worst floater fishing conditions I've fished in for ages. It's got really strong northerlies, and it's not actually that sunny. The sun's poking its head out every now and then. But I've spent a couple of hours probably walking around the lake, baiting up, trying to get them going. I've had odd fish taken, but the wind's been really strong. And it's took ages to get to the point I'm at now, but I've got probably 10 fish feeding at the minute. I've got a rig out there, but it's real hard with this drift. And that's one of the things we'll look at today, is just sort of how to combat strong wind when you're floater fishing, because they'll still eat the mixers, like they are now. Right, well, it's taken ages. I've been getting the right hump, if I'm honest. But I've hooked one. Like I say, it took me a long time to get them feeding properly. Like, you're talking 1s and 2s at first, in amongst a massive ripple. It's just almost impossible to even cast at them and stand a chance. But like I say, eventually they started taking quite well. Casting amongst them a good few times, but probably my 7th or 8th cast, landed right in amongst them. They carried on feeding, and then got one on. He's not happy. Like, it's been an absolute grueler to get them going, and now they're out there eating the mixers while the fish I'm playing is playing through the middle of them. It's crazy. Once they decide they want to eat them, it's almost like nothing will stop them. If you get them weeded, just hold tight and let them kick out. Generally, that should work. God, I've got a big lump of weed here. Oh, Jesus. If you're lucky, like this one has, the weed will go over their head and they'll completely stop fighting. There we go. Oh. That doesn't look a bad fish. As soon as the fish is in the net, I'm going to get some more mixers out. It took me a long time to get them feeding, and they were absolutely having them. So, you know, once you've got them going, keep that bait going out constantly, and that's pretty much the only way to keep them feeding. Right, well, here he is. Chunky little chap, this one, probably about 22 pound. I must say I'm absolutely delighted to get him on the bank. I was getting real fed up earlier. I just didn't look like it was going to happen. The wind was a nightmare. But, you know, I kept that bait going out, covered in oil, managed to get a big slit going across the lake. Once that lake's flat calm, they seem to be much more up for eating. And, yeah, you know, once I got them feeding, it didn't take too long. Like I say, probably 5 or 6 casts. And here's the result, which I'm properly made up with. Real cool fins, little stubby pecs, melted tail. He's yeah, really nice carp. But I'm going to get him back and get some more bait out there, because I'm worried that, you know, if I stop that bait trail, it's going to be hard work to get another one. And I really want to catch one more. Right, so I mentioned the wind earlier on, and that's basically can be one of the most problematic things you'll ever face when you're surf fishing, that and the bird life. Thankfully here, there's no birds, but we've got a real strong northeasterly to deal with. So, you know, you're going to have to keep an eye on your mixers. They drift a lot quicker than you think sometimes, and basically the fish will often follow them. So you might start in one swim, like I have, but you've got to be prepared to move. Luckily no one's here, so I'm able to run about like crazy, but got a big strong wind, it's pushing the mixers all over the place, and the fish have moved sort of down more into this area now, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move around here as well. Hopefully we'll manage to pack one out. Right, well, I've just run out of mixers. I always take loads with me, but I've been fishing the last couple of days and I've got through about 20 key. I thought sort of 5 kilo would probably be enough today, but this wind has proved a nightmare and the bait's not actually lasting very long out in the lake, so I've got through more than I expected. And I've resorted to picking the ones that haven't eaten out the edge. If this doesn't work, I'll have to go down the shop. Right, so I'm on the way down the shops. It's not ideal. Like I say, normally I take loads with me, but I've actually run out. Last couple of days I've waded for an absolute ton. So Sainsbury's round the corner, I'm going to go there and get some more. Probably get some ground nut oil as well. I used to use that quite a lot. And yeah, hopefully when we get back, we'll have enough bait and they'll start going crazy. I'm going to knock the mix up now. Couldn't be much easier, to be honest. Simply pour all your dog biscuits into a bucket and coat them with oil. The oil's the important bit. Well, both important, but on a windy day like today, the oil's the important bit. So, start with a couple. Once the ground nut oil's gone in, I'm going to put the rest of this phos oil in. I haven't got a lot left, but it's better than nothing. Right, once they're covered, lids on, and then give it a good shake. Ready to go. Well, we have one. It's really frustrating, this wind. It's actually driving me crazy. I'm probably making a bigger deal out of it than I need to, but oh, what's that grating? Oh, weed, other fish. Cool, he's not happy this, Jesus. Felt the line grating through a load of other carp as he moved through the pack. Right, so the rig, basically the rig's in that I'm using. Obviously it's a floater setup, but what I've actually chosen for today is quite important. You know, I've got a big float on, 30 gram float. Because the wind, you know, 2 reasons. 1, it needs to be able to cut through the wind accurately, and 2, I just find the bigger floats hold their own a bit better out in the lake. You know, when there's a big wind like this, a small, lightweight float will drift really easily. And another thing, because of the ripple, you can't often see your hook bait, you know, and you're able to rely on the float to hook the fish for you. Which it pretty much did this one, to be fair. I saw the float twitch and then struck, but that, I'd imagine the fish was probably hooked itself. Oh. Come on. Oh, glad to get him in. Run me ragged. Right, well here is my prize. Beautiful little linear. He went absolutely mad, this one. I kept saying to the cameraman all the way through, something don't feel right here. And it turns out it didn't feel right because something this small shouldn't be able to fight that hard. But he's a lovely end to the day, made that trip down to the supermarket worthwhile. Well, there's always time for one more cast. They were still feeding quite confidently. I whacked a couple of mixers out just for the, more just to see if anything would come up and take them, and they did quite quickly. Richard packed all his stuff away, bless him. And I'm sat out there, carp are taking baits all around the float. And he's gone, don't hook one now. I've just put all my stuff away. And as he said it, bang, I've got one. Oh, they are fighting hard. Ready to spawn, no doubt. This will definitely be the last one of the day. Poor old Rich really does need to get going, but I'm glad I flicked that rod back out. Lovely old grey common. Again, melted fins, really cool, and definitely in need of a spawn.